Coffee Connection Live. We are so excited that you're here joining us today. And today we are going to do a special edition where we're going to learn how to build an end table with one of our favorites, Maria Reed. Maria, how are you?
Good, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. This is a lot of fun because you're outside, I'm inside. I decided that I'm just going to play it safe and wear a hard hat and drink my coffee as we watch you build the table. So maybe I should pass this over to you.
Question, safety goggles.
Oh, safety goggles. I'll remember those next time. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And I know you have an assistant helping you today too. So thank you very much. Who's
And
your assistant?
my daughter Parker, she's on the other side. Raise your hand in front. You want?
Hi, guys.
Thanks, Parker, for joining us. So, Maria, the last time we spoke was, I believe, in April, so a couple months ago. So, what have you been up to since we last spoke?
It's been crazy. We are not in Texas, which is where we're normally from. We're in Virginia. We got word of a military family who lost everything and they needed help. So we came to Virginia and we did the largest makeover we've ever done. I don't think I slept for about 10 days, but it was absolutely beautiful. We did their entire house. Her husband, the service member, was on the Eisenhower, which was the in Navy history the longest no port of call. I believe it was 206 days where they were at sea. They didn't even come into a port. So when he came home, instead of coming home to a tragic mess, he came home to a brand new house. So that was pretty exciting.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing that and for everything that you're doing in the space to help military families and spouses. And oh, we could just give you a big hug. So thank you for all of that. And then I'm also going to have Parker get a little bit closer to you because it was cutting in and out just a little bit. There you go.
Okay.
Awesome. Awesome. There we go. So today we are building an end table. And I guess we'll just start from the very beginning. What do we need? Like, what supplies should we go pick up? Some of our spouses might, or in people watching right now, might already have the supplies at hand. But let's just start from the beginning.
Okay, we're going to start from the beginning, like you said. And I think the number one thing to think about is how is this table going to work for you? Is it something that you want it to be a lifelong piece that you have forever, or is it something that you're gonna kind of either give away or ditch at your next PCS? And the reason I say that is because the quality of wood that you use. You can make this table for under $10.
Wow.
Super easy. But you could also use a better quality of wood, and then it'll cost you more like $25. It just depends what you want to do. So I'm going to show you two different things.
Great.
This, right? And you can come closer too. This is what we call like builder construction furring strip. It's really cheap wood. These 2x2x8s are $1.36.
Okay.
Really inexpensive. But you can see it's rough. This is going to require a lot of sanding and even milling the edges. What that means, if you can see, do you see how the edge is kind of rounded?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to take that off, then you're going to need, a table saw. It's more work, but less money. Or you can buy, and I'm lifting it up here, you can buy a higher quality of wood. You see that?
Yeah. You can definitely tell how that's a little bit smoother. Yep.
And your edges are finished. It's different, but this is more expensive. It can be easier to work with. Also, especially if it's your first time, buy the cheap wood. You'll get practice, and that will be very helpful because you don't want things like this to happen.
Yeah.
On
Oh.
expensive wood.
Oops.
That's not fun, and especially if you spent a lot of money on wood, you're gonna kind of hate it. And I'll explain why this happened to me.
Okay.
So we need 2x2x8, 8-foot long furring strip, or you can also call them furring. 2x2x8 foot long, and then you're going to cut them. These I already cut and I already put them together. just for speed. But the length of this, if I want to remember, and what I sent you is 23 inches long. And then with that same wood, because you're going to have left over, you're going to cut the bases parts at 6 inches. So cut all your wood first, measure twice, measure 3 times, and then cut. So I have them all set aside for the table. Now, these ends I found, because I get a lot of inspiration everywhere, from hotels, from going to different places, looking by Bitterroot DIY. I don't know her, but I thought I'd give her obviously credit. This is her design, but I thought it was a great table to start off with. Then you will also need 1x4 by 8. One.
Oh, you're gonna have to say that again because it was cutting out just a little bit.
Not a problem. So I'm sorry, guys, if you hear a lot of construction, that's what's going on around here. It wasn't a little while ago, and now it's just like crazy. You're going to need 1x4 by 8, and you're going to cut that into 4 14-inch strips, and that's going to be your tabletop.
Great.
You'll obviously need a drill because you're going to have to be able to put the pocket screws in, and I'm going to tell you why I use those. And a Craig, it's obviously dusty because we've been using it. And then your screws, which are 1 1/4 inch, and I believe 2 inch is what I said.
Can you go back to the blue thing you just held up and explain what that is? Because honestly, some people have probably seen this before. I have not. It looks like just, can you explain that, what that is?
Looks like a weird torture device. This is called a Craig. Okay. And what it creates are pocket holes. And I'll show you what a pocket hole looks like. Where are my pocket holes?
Gotcha. Okay.
And the reason we use pocket holes is because the pocket hole in the screw makes a stronger joint. So that way it'll make a stronger table. Okay. There is no other way other than, and you can do this if you want to. So if you don't have a Craig, these run about $60-ish, $70-ish. Can be a little pricey. If you don't have one, you can put a screw right through this side, countersink it, and what that means is you're going deeper into the wood, and then you cover it with wood putty, and you would never see. So that's another way. You don't have to have a Craig to do this, but it is a helpful tool. Okay. All right, the construction crazy has started over there. I hope y'all are bearing with us.
As long as Parker's standing close to you, I think we're going to be okay. So as long as she's close to you, we don't really hear the construction, so.
Okay, because it sounds like demoing a house. And then you also want to use wood glue because wood glue helps to keep those joints secure. So you want to have your wood glue. And again, the reason you don't have to fill them is the way that this table was designed is that'll be the bottom. So you won't see them, right? And this will be the top. You won't see them because the tabletop will go over the top. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Tracking.
All right. Tracking. I love it. Tracking. This is the tabletop. And the top of the table will get screwed. So all 4 pieces, I can grab another one, will get screwed together like so. But the issue that I'm having where I'm at is that I don't have a clamp because you will need to clamp these together. I don't have a clamp large enough to do this where I'm at. Problems of not being in your own studio. So when you try to do this and it's not safe, and that's why I am not going to do it because it is a not safe way to try, and these are the things that will happen. Yeah. And I don't want this to happen to someone else. So you would have the right size clamp, glue in between, clamp your pieces together, and then work. Not try to do it like this. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to pause really quick because you're talking about all of these supplies, the wood, the Craig, the clamp, and everything like that. When you walk into a home improvement store, how do you not get overwhelmed for what you're looking for. So like how, I know you're probably comfortable, but how can you tell everyone watching right now, like, don't get overwhelmed. This is what you do when you walk into a home improvement store.
Okay, going into a home improvement store for me is like a candy store.
Yeah.
I want it all. I'm like, oh, look at that. They've got new wood. They've got new things. But the best thing you can do is go with a plan. So we gave you a plan of materials, and that is what you need to get. I think my daughter needs a little bit of water, so I'm gonna hold this for a second.
Okay.
It's really hot out here in Virginia. I didn't know it got this hot here. But go with your plan, your materials list and your cut list. That way you know exactly what you need to do. So if you don't have a miter saw, a lot of people don't. They don't have table saws. Your local hardware store will usually do simple cuts. Like all of these cuts, they're straight cuts. They'll usually do that for you. They might charge you 15 cents, 20 cents, but every home improvement store that I've ever gone to, they've done it for free.
Okay.
I'll say I need a bunch of cuts. Now when you're getting into complicated cuts, you're getting into miter cuts, angled cuts, they're not going to do that because of a responsibility. They don't want to be responsible if it's cut a half inch off.
Right.
You know, that or whatever. So you can cut these obviously yourself. I'm going to turn this over. We have, you see the miter saw?
Yeah.
Right, the miter saw. So we can do those cuts. But if you don't have it, you can do them there. But to not get overwhelmed is go with a plan, with your materials list, and buy what you need.
Okay.
It is easy to buy what you don't need, but it's best to buy what you need.
Gotcha. And we need your your video to come back on because it went away, I think. There you go.
Are we back?
Yep.
Was I touching stuff?
You're good. This is
a fun one, I'm telling y'all.
Awesome. Okay, so go in with a plan. The people at the home improvement store will probably be able to help you make your cuts and just probably explore. I mean, I'm sure at what, just figure out what you're looking for. And the people who work at the stores probably know, if you have your list in front of you, where to go. So
where to go.
Okay.
You can just ask. I do it all the time. Where your lumber section is one section. So that's where you go and it will be there. And then if you can't find what you're looking for, like I couldn't find the nicer wood in the area that I was looking for. And I just asked, where do we have wood that's already milled that's nicer? Oh, and they just directed me to that area.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. So I am trying to do this. I think my daughter's getting a little dizzy. So she's going to walk away and I'm going to stand here.
Well, we hope she's okay.
And I think she's a little dehydrated right now.
Poor thing. It's hot in Virginia. We're a little bit north of where you're at right now, and it has been hot here. So
it has. Where are you?
I'm in Williamsburg, Virginia. So we're about could have done this together. I should have just showed up with my hard hat and helped you out there.
There you go. We're in Virginia Beach.
I love it. And we also want to know where all the spouses joining us today. If you haven't done so already, make sure you put in the chat box where you're joining us from, because we'd love to know where you're coming from all around the world. This is exciting.
Yes.
Okay.
And I want you to say hi.
Yep. Tell us hello. And then Maria, we lost you again on video. There we go.
Sorry, don't know why it's cutting out, but
it's okay. It's okay. This is fine. So for this table then, you just told us about the tabletop part, but are you able to walk us through what we need to do next, or is that easy? Okay.
Here's going to be my trick to try and figure out how I can, there we go. And I'm going to try and get this here so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Can you see that?
Yes, we can.
All right, good times. So once you've cut, we're going to make this happen. Once you've cut your pieces, right? So all the top slots are 14 inches long. I need 4 to make the top. In order to put these pieces together and have them stick together, they need some way to do it. A nailer and a screw is not going to work. Why do you think? It's too wide. You're going to need a really long screw to get over here.
Gotcha.
So that's why the pocket hole was created. So if you see this pocket hole, I can get a screw right in there.
Yeah.
And then it will attach the two pieces together. But
Okay.
for safety purposes, you must have the right size clamp. So sadly, I do not have it here, but I am going to show you how to make the pocket screw. So it's really simple with using a Craig, because all your measurements, can you see this? There you go. All your measurements are right here. This is the width. I'm going to turn this here so I can put that there. There we go. This is how you're going to measure. So what you want to measure is the width of the wood.
Okay.
And here's a little tip about learning about wood. They call the measurement of this wood 1 inch by 4 inch by however long the piece of board you're going to buy. And I think in our measurements, I said 1 by 4 by 8. So
Okay.
8 feet long. You can even probably do a 1 by 4 by 6 and still have plenty. The problem that most people don't realize is it's not 1 inch. It really isn't, because what happens from the time they mill it at the factory to the time it gets in the store, you're going to have shrinkage.
Yeah.
It's going to shrink. So this 1 inch piece is actually, you can see it. Can you see there?
Well, a little bit. I mean, yeah, it's definitely less than an inch. Yeah. Okay.
It's less than an inch because it has shrunk in the process by the time it gets to the store. So it's really 3/4 of an inch. And that's where you would mark here.
Okay.
See that? 3/4 of an inch, because that's how deep it will know to go, the pocket hole, so that it doesn't go all the way through. If it goes all the way through, you've gone too far, and then the screw won't stick. So if anybody's got any questions about that, please feel free to ask them. But I'm going to show you right now how to make a pocket hole.
Great.
I've got my piece of wood. I've already got it set to 3/4 inch thick. That way it won't go all the way through. And I'm going to secure it. I've secured the piece of wood so that it doesn't move from here. And then on the top is where I'm going to stick the bit. You can take a look at it.
Oh.
Put the right bit in. And this comes with the Craig product.
Okay.
Again, I am in no way sponsored by this product. I just like to use it.
Gotcha.
Because I think it's a very good product. There may be others. If you guys know of one, let me know.
Gotcha.
I love trying new products. So on the top, you can pick a hole, because this is going to be a single. Let me see if I can do the camera and move everything at the same time. All right. One-handed. Oh, we can
Look at
do
this.
it. Guys, you see where I'm at?
Yeah.
Now let's see if I can do it. Okay. Am I there?
Yes.
One-handed's not always the best way to do
Not
this.
the safest. We
Not
don't
the
recommend doing
safest.
that at home.
Please do not do this while holding a camera. But once you've done that,
Okay. Yeah.
and it won't move around when you have two hands. So what you want to do is make enough pieces, and I'll put the camera over so you can see it. And you're going to stagger them
Oh, good.
to secure the top.
Okay.
You would do the same this way to secure the top. And then the last one, if I'm open here, yeah, I'll get it this way.
So would it be two holes per piece, or how many would you recommend?
On the outside pieces, I do 2.
Okay.
Which on my inside pieces, I do 3.
Okay.
So this was just a test, obviously.
Gotcha.
This would look like this.
Okay.
And then you have your 2-piece that would go like that.
Great.
right? So you would have 2, 3, 3, 2. And then you would put them all together. Again, using wood glue and the right size clamp, not the wrong size clamp, because when you're trying to do it, it's not safe, and you will get this. We have a camera person that is here and ready to help.
Hi, camera person.
So I'm going to flip it around. There we go. Thank you. We're back in, nope. Oh, this way. Yep. Sorry. We're back in business. All right. So with the proper tool, of course, you won't get this, but I can't do that because I don't have it and I don't want it to be unsafe and then run something through my hands.
Right. Yes.
Does anybody have any questions about that? About how
So
to
far, I think we're good from our chat box. Danielle, do we have any questions coming through?
No questions. I think we're all in awe of your skills, Maria.
I'm a little crazy right now. I also recommend cut everything and then sand it all first, because it's a lot easier to sand a piece of wood that's not stuck to anything else than when they're actually all stuck together. Sometimes it's a little more difficult, but even after your tabletop is put together, I would run a sander. Obviously, all these holes would go on the bottom.
Okay.
You wouldn't see them, and you wouldn't see that. And then you run a sander just on the top for your final finish.
Perfect.
Okay. So, and then I'm going to use that one again. Are we good on the top?
We are good on the top. Yes.
Okay. So these are the legs, and this was really interesting. What I really liked about this table that Bitterroot DIY put together was it's so geometric. When you're putting the legs together, it's going to look, can you back up a little bit so they can see it? Make sure I get it all right. Oh, that's not right.
Like a puzzle.
It is a puzzle. I'm trying to find where my puzzle pieces go to make it correct. There we go. All your pieces
I love that.
will look like that to make your bottom.
I love it.
Got that one?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to secure the legs to each other.
So all 4 legs are the same cut, same size, like, so just make 4.
That's right.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
All these were cut to 23, the longs. All of the center braces were cut to 6 inches. And the only ones that get the pocket screws are the 6-inch pieces, not the long pieces.
Okay.
So I've already secured the 6-inch pieces to the long leg.
Okay.
So it looks like that.
Love it.
Now, because I already have a pocket screw, I can screw that pocket screw right into this side. So let me go ahead and move some stuff around.
Sounds good. And while you're doing that, if the spouse is in the chat box, and for those joining us, want to put in what kind of projects have you guys been working on the past couple months, or what's a favorite DIY project that you've done before? We'd love to see, and we can definitely call that out and
I'd love to hear that. Yeah, I'd love to hear that. So for the most secure way to do this, instead of trying to do it up in the air, I'm going to lay it flat on the table, if you want to bring that closer. And I've got my 2-inch screw. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Can you come on this a little bit over here? This is the side I'm going to work on. And I only need 1 because I already have 2 securing that. And you just get it into the pocket. Now, I didn't put wood glue on that one.
Okay.
That's my bad, because I'm trying to work fast. Not a good idea. So I'm going to undo it. Come on, baby. And you're going to want to do wood glue first.
Okay.
So it's more helpful when you secure them. There we go.
Perfect.
Same on the other side. I've got my pocket. Got my screw. And then we have got the table. Again,
Okay.
this wasn't sanded, and this is that rough wood that we talked about. But this is a great way to start practicing.
Yeah.
How you want this to look. This would be. There's another word we call this. It's rustic.
Yeah, I do. I like rustic.
So rustic it's not perfect. It's not, you have the knots and the divots, and you obviously would sand it because this is really rough to the touch. Whereas if you're using this type of wood, this is already super smooth. But cost difference, $1.30 something for an 8-foot piece, $12
Yeah.
for an 8-foot piece. Big cost difference. But this would be the finer wood, the better wood would be a much more finished table.
Well, and rustic is good for PCSs because if something happens to it, then it's fine. A little ding, a little dent, it's fine.
It gives a character.
Exactly.
It gives a character. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same. A little bit of wood glue. I know where I'm going.
Stacy just said, Stacy in the chat box just called it shabby chic. I love it. Yes. Yes.
Yes. It works. And then, like you said, you don't feel crazy when you're PCSing if there's like a ding in it. It's just like, okay, that's okay.
Right, it's fine.
It's fine. So the same thing. And it's already. Yep. And then you're going to do on the other side. And you'll see the glue comes out a little bit. That's all right.
Your camera went away. We needed to jump back on camera. We'll just make sure you're still there too. Let's make sure. Oh, she's going to have to rejoin us. Well, while she comes back, because we need to figure out how to build this table for all of our houses. And I'm sure she'll just be able to click back on the link. So we'll figure that out. I can tell you guys of some upcoming events that we have coming on. So Maria is actually going to be hosting a couple workshops next week. With our partner Lowe's, and we have virtual workshops. So the first one is on August 25th, and it's building a fire pit, and that one is at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and we'll make sure to put the links in there for you so that you're able to sign up for that and learn how to make a fire pit, because fall is coming and we all want to learn how to build a fire pit. Maria, we're talking about your upcoming workshops with Lowe's, so no worries.
Cool.
And so we have the fire pit coming. We have, after that, on August 26th, Maria is going to show us how to customize furniture. And then the next one is August 27th, and we're going to do a DIY with painting. So this is all teaming up with Lowe's. We're super excited. Maria is going to be the pro that is working with us, and then we'll have somebody from Lowe's helping us too. So it'll be a lot of fun. So check that out. But Maria, I'll hand it back over to you.
Awesome. I'm excited about that. Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to flip the camera. Whoop, we're back. There's my friend. All right, you see us?
Yes.
All right, so we had just secured this piece. If glue comes out, that's okay. You know that that is tight. That's the tight piece. Then we're gonna have our last piece is gonna go here, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Find my secure spots. And here's another one, yeah. Here we go here. We're gonna go there.
Good.
All right, and I've got to get this side secured first. Glue. That one. Bring you around. Come on out. And I've got this one, because I hadn't done this side yet. Want to make sure you get all your sides. I had glued those. Okay. You're making like a box.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, this is turning out to be something, at this point you're like, well, do I want to continue making this a table, or do I want to make this something completely different? So
You could make it completely different. So on your box, that's sort of what you end up with.
Yeah.
Is a box. And all of those pocket holes, you see all the pocket holes?
Yeah.
All of the pocket holes will be covered.
Okay.
Now mine obviously right now looks a little janky. And so if you have overages or extras, you can sand all of this. This is really rough right now. You'd get splinters. So you definitely want to sand it. And then that top that we talked about, when it's all secured and put together, again with your pocket holes, these would all be put together. You would secure your top evenly. You would secure it to the top of it, and it would look like that. Again, guys, I apologize that I'm unable to make the top because I do not have a clamp that is large enough to work on this piece, and I don't have all of my tools here with me. And then you would secure it right to the top. You could secure it with a nail gun, pop, 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 easy, or you'd secure it with a screw. Make sure you countersink. That means go past the top of the wood a little bit, get it sunk in, countersink, and then put wood filler on the top so that you don't see the screw. Whoops! So that you don't see the screw, and then you would paint or stain or do whatever kind of finish you would want to do for this.
Do you prefer stain, or do you prefer like paint or chalk paint? What's your go-to?
Different things for different purposes. So for example, something like this, because the wood is really not perfect, a lot of these have a bend. The cheap wood is not always the best.
Yeah.
I would probably paint it.
Okay.
If I were using wood like this, which is beautiful, I mean, look at the grain.
Yeah.
I would want to stain something like this because it's so pretty. I always think paint is that kind of go-to. If it's a little chipped, it's okay. Like you said, shabby chic. I think Stacy said shabby chic.
Right.
It's okay. So it depends on obviously what you like. You may not like painted wood, period. If you say, I hate painted wood, I don't like that look, I love stain, then you may want to opt for a little more expensive wood.
And when you stain something, do you usually just stain it once? And do you just put the stain on and let it sit? Do you put it on and then you wipe it off? What are the staining tips?
Oh, there's different techniques.
Okay.
Again, it depends on, do you want a light finish? Do you want a darker finish? It's always better to work in layers than try and get it really, just put a lot on it and let it goop up. You don't want to do that.
Gotcha.
So if you put your stain on and you wipe off the excess, you do want to wipe off the excess. You don't want drips. And it's not as dark as you want it to be, you can come over it with a second coat and make it a little bit darker. All depends on what you want. There's also a great product from Minwax that I like to work with. It's a gel stain.
Okay.
It's really like Jello. It looks like Jello. It's thick, and you can put it on and you wipe it off, but it sort of just sits on the top. It only sits on the top of the wood instead of really penetrating the wood. But I find it easier to work with.
Good.
And then there are stain paints. So it's a stain and a paint kind of like together.
Yeah.
And it has a completely different look and finish. It really does depend on what you want to do, what look you are going for, and what you like. So even when I design for other people, the first thing I do is I meet with the family, because I want to know what they like. Right. And what their needs are. What is there enough of do we have enough of a budget to be able to do what they want, or what would really benefit the family? And then we make things, we purchase things. It's the gamut of putting it all together for them, but it depends on the look and the feel that you are going for. Something farmhouse? Oh, heck yes. Rustic all day long.
Right.
Something more mid-century modern? Oh no, you want a much cleaner, finer line. Depends, again, what you're doing and what look you're going for.
Okay.
Did that answer the question?
It does. And then a question off of that then is, so let's say you're on a budget and you just wanted something cheap. So is stain the cheapest and chalk paint the most expensive? What's kind of the range? So if you're trying to do something, you're just learning how to work with stains and paints and all of that, what should you play around with? And then what should you splurge on when you start to, I know it's all in taste, but cost-wise?
Cost-wise, chalk paint and stain can run about almost the same.
Okay.
For a quart, you can get a quart of stain for about $7, $8 and change, and you can get a large, and I'm talking your inexpensive chalk paints, not getting into the real higher end. Anne Sloan, which I love. Anne Sloan.
Yeah.
Annie. I love that. It's a little on the pricier side, but you can tell on the finish. Yeah. When it's done, you can see it. Mineral paints, fusion paints, they're wonderful to work with. They have like almost these layers of iridescent looks to them, but they're pricey. Yeah. You can go into, a local department store and pick up some, or your local craft store and pick up, and it's, $8 or so. And it will go a long way. An $8 bottle can almost do a whole dresser. So for a table this size, you're not going to need much. So you can even buy the small ones. Perfect. And they'll go a long way. The paint is going to cover up a lot of the mistakes. Good. That will help if you're just getting started and things aren't exactly coming out the way you want them to. You can do that. And one of the keys too, again, when I put my table together, I have corner brackets so that I know there's not going to be anything off. You can also work with, where's my guy? Stand by. Oh. A speed square. So when you square things up and you want to get them perfectly squared, you'll have that. Okay. So you want to have some additional tools to help you do it so that you don't, you're not kind of off. But again, I love Farmhouse, and it's a way to get started that gives you opportunities that you may not have had before, because it can be, like I said, a little chippy, a little rustic, and it's okay. Right. And it's a great starter piece. Okay.
And then for somebody getting into the DIY with construction, and they're like, you know what, it's time. I want to start to build some things. What are your go-to tools that you say, okay, you don't have anything. Let's say you have nothing. What can we start with to just start, making some cuts, getting a drill? Like, what do we need to start building some fun DIY?
Yes. If a miter saw is a must, it's kind of a necessity to make the cuts, they're pricey. Yeah. If you don't have a miter saw, like I said, your local hardware store should be able to do easy cuts like this for you. But then you can get things that may or may not be exact in size. and then you're going to have to have a sander. So if I have to give my go-tos, it's a miter saw, it's a battery powered drill, a nailer, and the best one I have found is Ryobi. It's a battery powered nailer. It is the best, especially if you're doing DIYs and crafting. That is the best. And an orbital sander, must have. Those will get you started for just about anything. And then if you're going to be doing pocket holes, then you would definitely want a tool like this.
Okay.
There's a smaller version, actually. It's called a portable Craig. It wasn't my favorite, especially if you've never used it before. This tool, a little more money, but it's a lot easier, in my opinion, to work with and be able to get what you need. So must-haves: orbital sander, a brad nailer, a drill, and a miter saw. Of course, some smaller things that you have to have.
Yes.
You need to be able to measure a speed square just to get things right. So, there could be an investment when you're trying to do everything, $400. And I know that that sounds like a lot, but if you're going to do this on a consistent basis, you're going to want to have your own set of tools. It is hard to work when you're not working with your own tools.
Yeah, good to know. Okay, well, let's check in with Danielle and see what is going on. Are there any questions coming through? And if not, I have a lot more for Maria, so.
Okay.
No questions, so feel free to keep going, Nicole.
Okay. Well then, Maria, I know beyond your home makeovers that you've been doing and everything else, you have also been very busy with Inspire Up. So I know we briefly touched on that the last time we connected back in April, but what's going on with that? And tell us a little bit more about that, please.
Awesome. Thank you.
And your video went away, so we need.
I think it's coming back now.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, cool.
Yeah. The Inspire Up Foundation, so it was started by 4 military spouses: myself, Samantha Gamolka, Jessica Manfrey, and Stacy Billadu. We started the Inspire Up Foundation together because we have a passion, obviously, for military families and want to be able to give back and help them in any way that we can, inspire them to do different things. Hence the name, Inspire Up. And we recently partnered with Brittany Bacher, who is just an incredible motivator and also very passionate about military spouses so that they find their passion and their purpose in life. Because sometimes as a military spouse, we almost forget who we are and what we wanted to do. And when you start thinking your spouse might retire, then you start going, oh, what do I want to do when I grow up? I don't know. This is, what happened here? So I love that Brittany helps with workshops for military spouses so that they can search within, find who they are, figure out, what they love to do. Is your passion floral design? Is your passion wanting to write a book? What is it? So we partnered with Brittany on a quarterly box. The first one just went out. We had military spouses from all over the world sign up for this, we call it the Spark and Inspire box. And we sent it out. We're going to be sending out another one in November. And the box in November is kind of like a DIY box because we're encouraging military spouses to build blessing boxes in their communities, whether you put in that box books or food, create a pantry, just create something so people in need can come by and get whatever it is that they want. So I'm really excited about the November box, but I'm also very excited about the box that just went out. So if you did get an email that you will be receiving a box, please let us know what you think. How were you inspired? There were so many military spouses that donated their time and their talents to make put in items into this box that were very meaningful. So we're really excited about that. And of course, coming up in December is going to be Giving Tuesday Military again. Yes. And we're excited to ask everyone. And of course, I'm going to challenge you, Nicole, on Giving Tuesday Military to do your act of kindness, whatever that may look like for you and your family. And I also encourage and challenge all military families watching this. What are they going to do on Giving Tuesday Military, which is the day after Cyber Monday. So it's like the first, right after Black Friday, so right after Thanksgiving. What are you going to do? And how do you think, Nicole, it will look different during a pandemic? How can we continue to be kind?
There's so many different things that I can think of, but I think that this is something really cool that a lot of us can get involved with. And it's not just, us sitting here, but I feel like all military families just want to help, and give
Right.
and pour as much kindness as they can into the world. So I think this is really cool.
I think it's in our DNA as military spouses. We volunteer, we give, we do.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a great opportunity.
Very excited for that. Very excited about the boxes. So thank you so much for sharing that, and love to see what you guys are always up to. There was a question that one of the spouses that registered for this, she's a Navy spouse, and she wants to know that if you have any tips. So this is kind of a little bit different from DIY,
Sure.
but she knew you were going to be the guest host or the featured guest, and she wanted to know if you have any tips for moving, since we are in PCS season, with 3 kids 5 and under.
3 kids 5 and under. The way that we did it with our kids is we got them involved, very much so that they felt vested in what was happening, not just, oh, we're moving to another place, but kind of make it an adventure and a journey that they can be a part of. So when I had them pack their backpack that they were going to take with them, I just didn't pack it and hand it to them. And I know that they're little, and that may seem like it takes a little more time, but that way they're very much a part of having their books and their stuffed animal. And I'm not really huge on devices, even though I made an app, but if they have some kind of a device that they can play with, or a game that they have that their go-to game or their go-to book, have those things that are with them, that they have the ownership of. That's really important. We also did develop an app. The My Ultimate PCS app is available it's free for all military families for iOS and Android. And it gives a lot of tips and resources within the app, but there's a household goods section that allows you to take photos of your household goods. And what we did is we encouraged kids to take photos of their items so that they felt like, oh, we're not just moving. It's not just we have to go, but I'm part of this. This is really important to me. Yeah. And that, I think, was a game changer for the kids, because they felt like they were a part of the process and not just, I have to follow along. And I know they're little, but make sure that you have snacks and things that'll keep them busy, so that it makes it a little bit easier on that process. And then we love doing almost like that I Spy when you're going on the journey. We're going to this new place, so it's like a field trip.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. I hope that helps and that answered a few of the questions.
No, I think that was brilliant. And we're in the middle of a PCS right now. Anyways, there's boxes. You can't see it, but there's boxes all around our house right now. And we have a 3-year-old, and I basically was like, here's some crayons, just color these boxes, go crazy, but I'm watching them, because I'm like watching the walls too. Like, cause I'm like, boxes you can color on, not the walls, please, not the walls. So
I actually love that idea, Nicole, coloring on the boxes. That is so wonderful.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I think we should color too, because I think coloring is good for the mind and just for zenning out. So maybe I'm going to go get some crayons and color too. So never stop coloring.
Right? Art is good for the soul.
Yes, yes. Well, then I'm going to see, I don't think, Danielle, are there any other questions out there? Because we can talk about Lowe's real quick, and then.
Love that.
Yeah, let's chat Lowe's, and I'll put those in the chat box one more time for everyone.
So I know we briefly talked about Lowe's, and I gave the dates of when they are, but what can we expect, Maria? What are you guys, I know fire pit, and you guys are going to talk about furniture and painting, but can you tell us a little bit more about these upcoming workshops?
Yes, so we're going to be working with Lowe's, and the first thing we're going to do is a fire pit. And I am working with their expert who is in North Carolina. So he will be on wearing a mask. He's a veteran, really great guy. He's doing the same thing in the store. So we're going to be working kind of together, but separated, obviously, and we're making it in the ground. So we are making the fire pit for a military family. We're going to donate it to a military family, and we're going to put it in their home. So that's wonderful, and we're able to do it more like in that organic setting, but you'll be able to get it soup to nuts from beginning to end. I think it's going to be about an hour. So some will be done. Like we have to dig a 2-inch hole in the ground and have gravel. That will already be done, prepared ahead of time, so that we're not spending our time digging a hole.
Perfect.
And then putting in all of the paver pieces, the liquid nails. Obviously, the biggest thing is to make sure that when you're making a fire pit, that you have enough of the distance away from a home, away from any tree limbs, because you don't want things to catch on fire.
No.
That would not be good. So we're going to start with that. And then you had asked earlier a question about, DIY, the difference between paint and stain. That DIY workshop is going to be refurbishing pieces of furniture.
Oh,
so
good.
we're going to be able to use different materials so you can see what they do to the wood, exactly what that look and finish is. And then the last one is we're doing paint techniques, from stenciling to, I really am excited about doing an ombre technique. There's so many beautiful kind of boho looks right now. So we're going to talk about the different finishes that you can do. And don't be afraid, if you live in military housing, to paint. Yes, paint. Do you have to paint it back? Yeah, unless where you live, there are approved colors. So at Fort Hood, they offer approved colors, and then you wouldn't have to paint it back. But if you use, we had an amazing military spouse who just left and went over to Fort Bragg, but she had painted some walls in military housing black. They were stunning, gorgeous. And I thought too, oh, she's going to have to paint this back and it's going to be awful. 1 coat of primer, 1 coat of paint, done, it was out.
Nice, good.
But while she was there, she loved it, and it was so beautiful. It was very bold. I loved it because it was bold.
Yeah, we like bold. Let's be bold, let's be bold.
You have to live there. Enjoy the space, whether you're there for a year, 2 years, 10 years. Wouldn't it be nice to be somewhere for 10 years?
Oh, wouldn't it though?
Right? You have to live in the space, make it your own, because then you will feel comfortable. We did a study about how your surroundings and your environment affect who you are and how you feel. And if you are unhappy in that environment, you will be unhappy, and then you're going to sort of emanate that out. It's just not going to be a good situation. But if you love the space and you're happy where you are, it changes how you feel. It's very, very powerful.
And thank you for sharing that. I think some of us, we just need to hear that sometimes, even though we think we know it, it's good to hear it and make sure make your space yours. Love it.
Yeah. I went through a time when I didn't want to hang anything on the walls.
Yeah. No, hang stuff on the walls. Here.
Make it your own.
So thank you, Maria, so much for this. We enjoyed spending time with you. Thank you for doing this. We know you've been super busy in Virginia helping other military families, so we appreciate you just spending time with us outside. We loved it. I want to let everybody else know again, so the workshops, we have August 25th, building a fire pit, August 26th, customizing furniture, and the August 27th is the painting workshop. That's all with our Lowe's DIY virtual workshops. And then we also talked about Brittany Bacher. She has a Discovering Your Spark workshop, which is going to be August 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure to check those out. And Maria, I can't wait until next time. We'll see you next week when you're doing some Lowe's stuff with us.
Thank you. And we'll be back in our neck of the woods. So
yeah,
we'll be excited about that. I'll have my own tool belt.
Oh, sounds good. Well, thank you for having me. And have a great rest of the week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.